I'm so glad you're here, especially if you've even looked at or even submitted one of the recipes for the virtual cookie swap at hisradio.com. I'm Rob. That is Liz, His Radio. And now we've come to that time because every Thursday at 7:10, we have Liz's Ugly Bakery, which she's been making cookies from the virtual cookie swap and giving away for all those the limited edition Liz's Ugly Bakery apron. Who did it go to?
It's going to Rhonda, and Rhonda is busy. Let me tell you, she is a teacher. She is a mom. She's a grandmother. And she said she kind of came up with this recipe because she needed something quick. She also takes cookies to shut-ins and people that have babies in the church. So I'm telling you, she's busy. And this is a fairly easy recipe, but you can have some fun with it too.
Oh, good for you, Rhonda. So what is it today?
It is a Heath Bar cookie bar. Do you like Heath bars?
Me?
Like with the toffee? Yeah.
No, I don't like the toffee or caramel or anything like that. I don't like anything that will stick to my teeth or the roof of my mouth.
Okay, well, these are very decadent, and they are Heath, so you use the toffee bits. But Courtney Starr came into Liz's Ugly Bakery yesterday afternoon because we've been doing virtual cookie swap together, and we decided we're going to have sort of a bake-off. So she did her Heath Bar cookie bars one way. I did mine another. She put sea salt caramel bits in hers. I put chocolate morsels in mine. She drizzled caramel over the top of hers. So,
wow.
Yeah, we made our own separate batches to taste this morning.
Oh, well, that's great. So, okay, Courtney Starr, by the way, if you're new to the family, is on in the afternoons on His Radio. And she's been participating in the virtual cookie swap and making these cookies with Liz, which you'll see the recipe and everything at hisradio.com. On the virtual cookie swap. So every week, Ian and TJ take a sample bite and taste test what Liz makes. Today it's Liz and Courtney. And just so you'll know, so you're on the inside here, TJ never likes any of Liz's stuff. It's crazy. Anything that he's a picky eater from what we understand. So, okay, let's not delay any further. Okay. Let's start with Ian, and let's see how he likes the Heath Bar. What'd you call it? Heath Bar what?
Heath Bar cookie bar. Okay,
let's hear it, Ian.
Sorry, I had to unmute. It's definitely good. It's, I don't know. I kind of like last week better, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's good as always, but I just think last week was a little better, but still not bad.
I would take it as a positive, Liz.
Okay, I'm just used to Ian just gushing over everything I make. Okay. So
it's still a positive. He likes it.
In the heart, but that's okay.
Okay. Take a big, deep breath, if you will. It's time to hear what TJ has to say.
Well, I mean, I could probably eat about 3 more of these.
Wait, what? Ian actually likes it? You got to be kidding me.
Did you say you liked this?
We've been waiting for this moment forever that TJ would actually like from Liz's Ugly Bakery, something that she makes. Wait a minute.
It's like a Christmas gift.
Wait a minute. You said you and Courtney both made a batch.
Yeah, she made her batch, and then I made my batch, and I've got little signs in each one of them.
Which batch did you take from, TJ? I'm afraid to ask now.
I took from Courtney's.
Oh.
Are you kidding me right now?
He didn't try yours. You tried Courtney's.
So the first thing Courtney makes,
he likes.
You want 3 or 4 more of them.
Yeah, they're good.
It was Courtney's.
Okay.
Sorry, Liz. It's all right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, that's Liz's Ugly Bakery. You can find the recipe at hisradio.com. She'll be okay.
His Morning Crew.
If you missed it, oh my, it was something to be heard. Because TJ, one of our producers who usually does not like anything that Liz makes or bakes in Liz's Ugly Bakery, actually liked something today. It's Rob and Liz, His Morning Crew on His Radio. So you and Courtney from the afternoons, Liz and Courtney, both made what'd you call it, a Herbie Hancock thing? What was it?
No, but I'm going to call it that from now on. It's a Heath Bar
That's
cookie
it.
bar.
That's it.
Yeah, and it's delicious. It's Ian kind of described it like a blondie, a chewy blondie, but it has Heath Bar bits in it. But Courtney and I, because we have different tastes, she did hers one way, I did mine a different way. So we made our own individual batches of these cookies that were submitted by Rhonda.
So little did we know, when Ian and TJ, Ian's our other producer, taste tested this, we didn't know who had what, when it came to the batch. So evidently, Ian had Liz's batch. And then when TJ was starting to give his assessment, and then he said he could eat 3 more of those things, we're like, what? He likes something? Literally, the Hallelujah chorus went on. Because we've never heard of TJ liking any of Liz's bakery. And then he revealed to us what, TJ? What'd you reveal?
I had Courtney's.
Courtney's batch
of cookies. And he said he could eat 3 or 4 more of those cookies. Never once has he said he wanted anything, like a second helping of anything I've ever made.
Yeah.
Barely wants the first.
Okay. I'm told that Joanne's on the line and has something. I think it's a comment about TJ. So
okay.
What did you want to say, Joanne, about TJ?
I'd choke the boy.
You would.
I am telling you, this boy needs to learn, like my parents always said, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. Oh my gosh, that boy don't like nothing. How does his mama feed him?
He does like Courtney's batch, just not Liz's. It's just, what?
Yeah, that would have gotten him a beating real quick.
Oh, it's a personal vendetta now.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
So close to Christmas, and we're wondering about you and your traditions, specifically on what you do on Christmas Eve. Everybody does something slightly different, right? It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
Yeah, we always do like some appetizers, some little desserts. It's all these little things like maybe meatballs and little cocktail weenies and things like that, chicken nuggets. The boys always want me to go to Chick-fil-A and get the chicken nuggets for
Really?
Christmas Eve.
That's a Christmas Eve thing, huh? Chick-fil-A
It
chicken
is.
nuggets. Wow.
Yeah, and then they always want to open one little thing on Christmas Eve, and we just sit around in the living room and talk about old Christmases and things like that. So I love Christmas Eve.
Same. We do the present thing. We open up one present on Christmas Eve for the kids on Christmas Eve. So how about you? 800-447-7234. You're on his radio. What is that tradition?
Half of our family is Jewish, so we celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas at the same time.
How does that work for you guys?
It's very interesting. My wife is a Judeo-Christian. She accepted Jesus Christ in 2002. And so that's she did that on Christmas Eve. We go over to her mom's house and we make latkes. We get the menorahs out and we celebrate the Festival of Light. And while we're doing all that, we have in the oven 4 pans of homemade lasagna. We eat lasagna and latkes and applesauce.
It's got to be interesting when you're going through the Hanukkah celebration, because for you and your wife, it's so apparent that Jesus is real even through the Hanukkah celebration.
My wife, she has always told people she knew that there was something missing. Her father is Methodist, and so they would go over to her grandma and grandpa's house to celebrate Christmas and sing the Hanukkah, sing all the Christmas carols, but she never understood it. And now she has a bigger picture of what this is. She feels that she is a complete Jew than just a half Jew.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
So grateful you're joining the conversation today. 800-447-7234. I'm Rob. That's Liz. It's his morning crew. And those Christmas Eve traditions that you have in your family?
Yeah, Kimberly said when my girls were younger, she was a single mom, and they would do pizza and a movie every single Christmas Eve. They would go to the midday show, but then when they got a little older, they started making their own pizza, and then the girls would go pick out a movie. So her girls are now 29 and 25, and they still have to do it every Christmas Eve.
Really? I love that. They keep that tradition going. That's a legacy. Pizza and a movie.
Exactly.
Right?
Sounds good.
Even though you make it this year in 2020. Andy's here at 800-447-7234. What's the tradition, Andy, for Christmas Eve?
For years we had a Jesus stocking And on Christmas Eve every year, we would pull out the things that we had put in there the year before and read them. And then we would put something in there. Everybody would write something down that they wanted to try to give to Jesus that year, like a better attitude or an hour a day in prayer or reading a verse of the Bible every day. But we would put something in there, and then each year we would always read it before we would put a new one in.
That is the coolest tradition. I mean, you're really working on your faith when it comes to that on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it was really neat.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
So great hearing these Christmas Eve traditions. You can even share yours if you'd like and call or text 800-447-7234. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
Sandy's talking about her Christmas Eve tradition, and she said they always go to their her sister's house for Christmas, but her son, Sandy's son, has a birthday on December 30th. And of course, like everybody else has a birthday about that time, he wants it separate from Christmas. So on Christmas Eve, they have a birthday party for him. He usually chooses what's for dinner. They have a cake. He opens his birthday gifts, and then the next day can be solely for Christmas. So that's their Christmas Eve tradition. Ariana said every year their family goes to the grandparents' house. The kids decorate cookies, play some games, and they also have carolers generally show up at their house. That's awesome!
Hey, that's great. I love those texts. Well, what about you at 800-447-7234? Wendy's here to share her Christmas Eve tradition.
About 5 years ago, it's actually 5 years ago this year, and we decided we wanted to go out to eat for Christmas Eve, and there were no places to get into, so we actually ended up at Taco Bell, and then after we ate it there, of course, we had the entire place to ourselves. The staff was actually in a good mood because they were getting ready to go home for, their little Christmas break. After we ate, we just went Christmas lighting. So the next year, it was just kind of brought up as a joke for my oldest daughter, who just turned 18 this year. And she's just like, hey, Mom, are we going back to get tacos again this year? And it's just kind of stuck. So this year marks 5 years.
5 years of a chulapa.
Oh, yeah.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
Whether it's like the most joyous time of the year for you right now, or if it's polar opposite, I'm grateful that you're helping His Radio to get the message out of what Christmas is all about and what faith is all about. You found us during the Christmas music, and I'm grateful. And if you're new to the family, I think you've noticed something a little bit different. And we live our faith in Christ out loud here, just like real people, living life along with you. And the cool thing is, we get to celebrate the fact of what Jesus has done together on this station with your support and with His Radio continuing to get that gospel message out.
Right. And you can be part of that. If you've ever thought, I wish Christmas hadn't become so commercial that, sometimes Santa isn't at the forefront and Jesus is, you can be part of that through His Radio. And you can give a year-end gift. If you do it by December 31st, you can write it off on your taxes, which is awesome. So it's kind of a win-win. But you can do that by going online, hisradio.com, the My His Radio app, or even texting the word give to 800-447-7234.
Yeah, if you didn't know, His Radio is a listener-supported radio station. People like you keeping the station alive and going strong with this message of hope.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
When was the last time you wrote a love letter? It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on His Radio. Although this kind of love letter is just a little different. It's more of an encouraging kind of letter to a family member or friend or somebody you don't even know.
Yeah, it's a letter writing campaign. They've been doing this the last couple of years, and it follows like the 12 days of Christmas. But their 12 days of Christmas is going to end tomorrow. So you still have today and tomorrow to get in on this campaign, which is all over Facebook.
42,000 people signed up on Facebook for more love letters. And it's neat how they do it. But, I'm kind of thinking I might want to take the challenge on myself, even though this thing is done tomorrow with this Facebook group. There's a lot of people I know in my own life that need some kind of encouragement. I'm getting a card every now and then, especially from my church. They have like this prayer team at church that sit down, and when they pray for you, they write out a card and send it to you in the mail, which is really nice. I've gotten 3 of those in the past month since I've been going through this whole surgery thing in my health, which that's going to be done January 13th. I'll update you about that later. So it makes me, if I feel good about getting something like that, I just wonder how many other people would feel great about getting something literally handwritten, just as a note of encouragement.
And I think that is so different. Yeah, it is very nice when somebody texts you. And of course, a phone call is awesome when they're just checking in on you. But to unexpectedly go to the mailbox, open that mailbox, there's a letter with your name in it. Somebody has taken the time to go buy a stamp, because who has stamps anymore? Just about.
Right?
And to think about you would be mind-blowing. So I think we can all do this. Somebody in your life could use a letter.
His morning crew.
It looks like, if you've seen the news, that the FDA just approved an over-the-counter home COVID test kit, and it even integrates with your cell phone. So it's got like a smart app with it and Bluetooth and all this other stuff, and you're supposed to have, within 20 minutes, it's roughly 96% accurate and costs like $30 or something like that once it's out in January.
So it's only $30, takes 20 minutes. Sign me up. I mean, if I need a test, that seems like the way to go, huh?
My wife went in like a 3-hour line one time in cars when they're doing some of those free tests, and it was at some school somewhere. I can't remember. This is early on in this whole pandemic thing, but it was 3 hours. Now it's like right at home, if this thing really works. Some company out in Australia called Illume that's putting this whole thing together.
Well, I think all of us will be happy about this. I had heard about some home tests that were in the hundreds of dollars range. So if they brought that cost down to $30, because from what I understand, I have only taken one test. That was a while back. My daughter, because she's in healthcare, she's taken multiple tests. So yeah, keeping costs down, that's the way to go.
I hear that some of the healthcare workers do it once a week. Is that what she does?
She is not doing once a week, but it is fairly often. I want to say they're doing it at least once a month.
Healthcare workers, you are our heroes.
His morning crew.
If you're new to the family, you may not know that Liz Riles is like really into the royal family. And so when she sees news about them, she's got to tell you about it. So just bear with me and let Liz get it out of her system. Okay, go ahead, Liz.
Okay. Well, we're going to start with Meghan and Harry, who say they're not royals anymore, so we may not need the music for them.
Oh, well
cut the music.
There you go.
Okay, anyway, Meghan and Harry are getting into podcasting because since they've left the royal family, they don't really get that money from the British government so much anymore. So they are finding different ways to stay relevant. They are going to have what they're calling a Christmas special, stories of hope and compassion. They're going to have celebrities on it, inspirational stories, and that kind of thing.
This is a podcast?
It is going to be a podcast, and they have Archwell Studios, I think, is what they have. They're doing a lot of different projects. But the first is
I could care where they record it. They record it on their kitchen table if they want.
Actually, I would maybe listen to that one.
Rather than some fancy studio. Yeah.
Exactly. Like at home with Meghan and Harry, I think I'd be all in.
Okay. You're moving on to the Queen?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here we go.
Do the music. Yes, we need the music for the Queen. The Queen is going to have her Christmas address that she's been doing every year. Typically, it's somewhat mid-morning for us in the States. Eastern time, it should be around 10 a.m. on Christmas Day.
She really does a Christmas address?
She has been doing this since 1952.
What does she say?
She talks about just the year that the British monarchy has had, and really not even her family so much, which she has touched on, like the birth, if they've had births of new children in the royal family, but more so it's what has touched our lives this year, or their lives this year.
Is this more like a version of when people write a letter of what their family's gone through and mail that out as a Christmas card?
No, I don't think she says, well, Philip and I have taken up knitting, and they don't talk about those types of things. It's more just a source of encouragement going into the new year and that kind of thing. But you can check it on Facebook, and they also have a YouTube channel for the royal family, and they even have a podcast. The Queen has a podcast.
No, she does not. Does she do that at the kitchen table? Does she even have a kitchen table? Does she even go to the kitchen?
Does. No, she goes to the dining hall, I'm sure.
Does she make her own eggs and bacon in the morning?
If she does, I so want to see that somewhere, like her in her PJs and fuzzy slippers.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. That would make my Christmas.
There's got to be some real person in there somewhere, right?
Way down deep.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
If you're going to send anything out, shipping and stuff like that. If you do that, well, the last day stuff is coming up on when to ship that. Like, for instance, tomorrow is the last day for the postal service in the mail to get the first class stuff out. And then you've got Saturday for the priority mail, and then on Wednesday for the priority mail express service that they have. So all these deadlines are coming up.
Wow. And it's going to cost you a little more if you waited until the last minute. I mean, I think some of the stores are still doing free shipping, but that's not going to last long at all. Maybe another day or so.
Yeah, you missed out on the U.S. ground service for UPS, so forget that. But coming up on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, you still have the 3-day, the second day, and the next day air for UPS. FedEx, their ground service was done earlier this week, but next week, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you've got the Express Saver, the 2-day stuff, the 1-day stuff. They'll even on Christmas Day on FedEx do same day if it's in the same city.
And there's always still stopping by 7-Eleven.
Yeah, right? Amazon's got their thing. Walmart's got their thing, too. But all that last day stuff is like here, now. Got to ship that stuff out, right?
Rob and Liz.
His Morning Crew.
I love what we are talking about here because my grandmother wanted to be a rockette. She was tall enough. She could dance. And she actually did try out for the Rockettes, did not make it. But you know what? You and I can learn to dance like a rockette on Instagram. We don't even have to leave the house. And it's free. You want to do this, Rob?
Me? I don't need to be taught. I just kick my leg.
Well, that's the thing. That is one of the things that you can learn. They're going to teach you how to do that iconic rockette leg kick. It's eye level. They get their legs so high it goes up to eye level, which is crazy to me.
I can do mine knee level. It's pretty good.
I get about ankle level and I'm done. I got to sit down and have a snack. But they have been giving free lessons every Wednesday during December. So there's one more that's coming up this coming Wednesday, which is the 23rd. But if you say, well, I really wanted to see what they did last week, you can still get them. They're still on their Instagram page.
Yeah, everything, as long as it's not a story, it's right there on Instagram, unless they highlighted it. I don't know if you've ever been to New York during the Christmas spectacular that they do at Rockefeller Center with the Rockettes. I mean, it's amazing that by the time they get to the end of that Christmas spectacular, you have the story of Jesus that's there. And this is the Rockettes.
I know. They just put it right in. You get the high energy, and then you get, of course, what Christmas is all about from the Rockettes.